Listen, real recognize real. Listen. Tune in and turn up your radio. It's gonna dance. Turn up your speakers and let them bomb. We on right now. You already heard about it. Frank Ellison and y'all so good. The next discussing topics. Pick up your phone and call. So real, talking about facts and new that is physical. So deep, you're gonna need a rap to make sure you stay afloat. So baby, don't you change that station. Be a part of this history that's in the making. It don't matter what you're doing, just save it. And you can get back to it later. And you can catch some of this flavor. Cause real recognize real. Real recognize real. Real recognize real. Real recognize real. Hey yo, Sean. Hey, listen, I'm tuned in one night, man. I appreciate that, man. That was real. Hey, real recognize real is a G-law. Always be yourself, never be a fraud. Lashes up and down, color seesaw. Stay woke, triple R, ringing the alarm. Fragile up, internet, feeling better. Made from pure chocolate.
Yes, real recognize real. I love it. Real recognize real. Thank you guys for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Time after time, you guys have been supporting us. We have a fabulous show for you once again. I'm your host, Franchella, and
I am Lynette, the co-host.
Yes, absolutely. So we have some, like I said, we have a fabulous show for you guys as usual. We have some of the guests sitting and waiting in the green room. But before we get to the guests, we have to do our hood news.
Yes. So there's a few things in hood news. So I'll just throw some out there and you tell me what you want to talk about. So of course, you know, Trey Songz is trending because of this leak of this sex. Well, it's not really sex, but it's the other kind of sex, as a child would say. It's a video going out there surfacing it with a girl performing oral sex on him. And so a lot of people are saying, you know, these celebrities who are role models, you know, they have to be careful what they put out there. So that's one thing that's trending. Then T.I. and Tiny also have some trending topics as well, where they're being talked about in alleged sex trafficking incidents as well. So it's a whole lot of provocative stuff out there on the internet.
So I seen an Instagram post that he did where he basically admitted to I guess some of these sexual encounters, and but he said they were all consensual. And, right. You know, that whatever they were doing. And what's that with Hollywood? Like I just don't get it. Like everybody want to have an entanglement and they want to, you know, have these people come into their relationships. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy, you know. But to each his own, you know. That's another show that we're gonna have to have about, or maybe we can ask our relationship coach that's gonna be on here in a few. Maybe we can ask her about, you know, what's the deal with the threesomes, and you know, and does it even, you know, work in these relationships? Because I thought they were on the brinks of getting a divorce, and then I guess they got back together.
They were, and then they reconciled a couple years ago. Yeah. Right. So it's also, you know, with this parking wars and people getting shot. I think it was a young person you were telling me about a while ago that got shot and killed arguing over parking spot.
Oh, well, yeah. This is a video that I saw, and it was neighbors, and the husband and wife from across the street were arguing with the neighbor across the street, a male. And it escalated, you know, the couple was, you know, throwing out a whole bunch of foul language, calling him names. I think they even threw one of the objects that they had for shoveling. And the guy went in the house and he came back out and he shot him. You know, he shot him 2 or 3 times, ran out of bullets, went back in the house, got a shotgun, came back out and finished them off.
Wow.
It's absolutely insane. I don't know, and I didn't really hear it, you know, through any of the articles that I read, but it just seems like it was a feud that was constantly going on that really escalated. But it prompted me to put a Facebook post out there about parking, you know, in Philadelphia, and how we put our chairs out and things like that to save our space. And people weren't really, I mean, majority of people get it, but a lot of people weren't getting it, where what I'm saying is, you know, you have older people, or you just have single people that get out there and it take them 2 hours or more to dig themselves out, especially when it's like maybe, you know, 8 inches or more, that I think, you know, because people don't respect you anymore, and they still don't, because now people are moving your stuff, that you place something there, because where are you going to park? Because now it's a parking spot that could have had 2 cars. It's now limited to 1 car because of the snow. And you know, it's never anywhere to park. You know, people save their spots if they have to go to work, they got to go to the market, whatever. And
so, God forbid you plow before the snow plow come through the street, and then you dig yourself out, and then the snow plow come through the street, and then you got to do it all over again. And then for somebody to come and take that spot, I just think it's so ignorant and inconsiderate. And I wish that people back in the day, we didn't have this problem. People respected, if that was your spot, that was your spot. Even though it's a public street and they saying, oh, it's illegal to block a street parking, it's public parking, blah blah blah. Even with that being said, it's still ignorant if you know you didn't put in all that work to get that snow out, and you think you can be entitled enough to get that space. That's just wrong. And anyway, one more thing, because I know we got 2 guests. The impeachment trial. You were talking about you had a migraine. Did you watch? Did you watch some of the impeachment trial? Because that might have gave it to you.
No, because I'm just done with him. Like, you know, he never was my president, you know, and so I just pray that we get some kind of justice, because I just can't understand why, you know, the Republicans are still sort of backing him. A lot of them are backing him, saying that this won't be good for the country. Well, he wasn't good for the country. Exactly. So
now you care. Now you care.
Right. If we allow this kind of stuff to happen, first of all, if they nipped it in the bud from the very beginning, from the things that he would say in front of the podium, from him being on Twitter, they should have nipped that from the bud from the very, very beginning, and we wouldn't even have a lot of these issues. But you know, who does that? Like, what other president is on? You find things out from off of Twitter. Like, who does that? Nobody, but you know, Trump. Yeah. So I can't even give him no energy, because for the last 4 years, my life was just, you know, a living hell. Like it really was. Like a nervous wreck, not knowing if at any given time a nuclear bomb was going to come over here in America because of, you know, his nonsense and the way, you know, he talks to people, and not trying to make peace of any kind. So
yeah, well, this is the month of love. This is the month of love.
Yes. Month of love. Y'all see it? Love.
Francella got her love shirt on.
I do have my red hat, so you know I am still with the red. But without further ado,
and it's Black History Month as well. So thank you to our ancestors.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Well, I say Black History Month is all year long. I know they dedicate 1 month, but you know, we have to uplift each other every single day, 365 days a year. So you know, just do what you can do, volunteer, whatever the case may be, all the time, not just the month of February. So, okay, let's get into our first guest. Our first guest.
Hello, ladies, my power sisters.
Yes. How are you? And I'm loving all the red that you have.
I as women, we each have our own superpower. We each have our own super color. And this is mine, my red. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel alive. These are interesting times, our new normal. So I'm just trying to keep my spirit up. Even my place, you can see in the background, it's got a little red and white action going on there. So, you got to.
Nice. Okay, so Lynette, what she's going to do is introduce you to everybody first, so they know who our guest is.
So Desiree Kinney is the CEO and founder of the Business Matchmaker. She is also an empowerment speaker, career coach, media and TV personality who has been seen on several well-known media outlets and has spoken at Fortune 500 financial companies. Desiree is currently in wealth management in New York City. Her specialty speaking topics are who means business, are you LinkedIn or linked out, personal branding for business owners and executives, and the art of networking. She is a panelist for the Brooklyn Savvy TV and a former co-host of Discover, a New Future show. Now she is the host of the Work Your Money podcast, and her segment is titled Women and Men in Business Rock. Welcome, Desiree, and thank you for joining the Real Recognize Real Talk radio show today.
Thank you, Angela. You are so amazing. This is making my whole night, so I'm very happy to be here today with you.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about what got you into wealth management.
Absolutely. You know what? Truthfully, should I start or should I just go with I'm speaking? Hello, Kamala. I am so happy. I have to say that was one of the most empowering moments. And I honestly feel like no matter who you voted for, because this is not a political discussion, we have our first female VP and VP of color. It is just transformative. And one of the cool things is she shares similar ancestry to me. My mom migrated from South America, Guyanese. My ancestors are from India. My dad, African-American, Black from the US. So I actually made a collage and I was like, look, we look similar. But it actually is really rooted in the reason that I went into Wall Street. And that's because I said, where are the people that look like us? Where's the representation? Where are the intelligent, talented, unbelievable individuals of color that aren't here? We're here. We're loud and proud and we're not going anywhere. And I said, I'm going to do something that is totally not in my skill set. I majored in marketing. I was not skilled at finance. And that's why when people call me the finance guru and the budgetista, I'm like, are you kidding me? That's not my background. But I challenge myself and I encourage everyone who's watching this to believe in the power that you have within you, your own inner superpower, because it's there. You just may not have discovered it yet. And one of the things I always say for people to focus on, stop making to-do lists and start making to-be lists. Think about who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world. That's actually I quote Jay Shetty on that one because I'm into a little of that spiritual thing. But the mindset, your mindset is so powerful no matter what you're going through. If you keep this strong and you take care of yourself and you have self-care and inner healing, you can overcome everything. So what I did, I created a series of Women of Wall Street workshops to empower other women and uplift them, whether they wanted to go into the industry or they wanted to feel more in control and empowered by their finances. Organizations that provide free resources like Savvy Ladies. Those are the individuals and organizations that inspired me. So I know I'm not the first, but I definitely want to be a part of the legacy and the change. And with the changes in our White House and in our society, I feel like this is absolutely our time.
That's right. The time is definitely now. And like you said, a lot of us don't know about financial literacy. You know, they don't teach that in school. They teach math, but they don't teach you why that's important, why you really need to know those numbers and budgeting and stuff like that. Life skills.
Right.
Absolutely. And things like, and I will not, full disclaimer, I'm not a debt specialist, but I think things like that, being in control of your finances, what's glorified in society is how much you spend, not how much you save. Isn't that interesting? How much you spend versus how much you save. And look, sidebar, I'm a music artist. I'm a singer and songwriter. I'm in the hip hop and R&B and pop space. And I get it. It's popular. It's glamorized. It's what people buy. But why are they always throwing money around? I'd rather see them throw it into a bank account or invest my money.
Exactly.
Quadruple and that multiple effect of what they're initially investing and seeing that grow. And a lot of the things that I think, and as someone who's a community activist, I'm out in the community. I'm volunteering. I'm mentoring our youth. I'm helping those kids who don't see faces like them believe that they can do it. That yes, they can, right? And I've done it across multiple groups. The Latino market, si se puede, like I do it all over. It's not like I limit. Like I've served on boards for the Latino organizations, for African American, for South Asians, and I want them to believe and be inspired that they can do it and that there is value in what they can contribute to the world. I call them our future leaders. That's what I call them.
Well, do you think that social media, though, has a lot to, especially with our younger people, and seeing, the rappers and the Hollywood people and how, what they're wearing. And so, they run out and they want to buy that when they know, they get a Chanel bag and they don't even have 50 cents to put in the bag, so I think social media, it's good for a lot of things, but it can be damaging as well.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. Okay, so I want to say it's not about that you can't buy that bag, right? But it's just like you don't want to buy the car before the house, right? You want to make sure you don't want to live in your car, do you, right? But you also want to live and celebrate your life. We've been through some really tough times. I know I'm personally one who experienced extreme trauma last year. I lost my significant other tragically last year. And I told myself, thank you. My heart goes out, by the way, not to give like a COVID message, but anyone who's healing from trauma, losses, even the people who are suffering from extreme depression and loneliness, we're here for you. You're not alone. And I want people to understand that we have, as a community, and as individuals, a responsibility to check on people. Ask how you're doing. Send them some flowers, whatever it is. It's Valentine's Day. They don't have a loved one. Send them some chocolates. I have all my Galentine's days with my gal.
Right.
And I do that. My mom's always my Valentine. I don't care if I have a love of my life in my life or not. It's about showing love, reciprocity, and being there, because these are tough times. So what I say is this is one of my new mantras, do what makes your soul happy. So if buying that little bag or whatever it is makes you happy, that's fine, but make sure you have a plan in place.
Right.
Don't go broke.
Don't go, yes.
Right. Trying to keep up with the Joneses.
That's the issue, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Right.
The Kardashians, like that's a different lifestyle, but even them, trust me, they have someone who's budgeting and managing their accounting and telling them how much they're spending. Trust me, behind the scenes, all the flashiness. So just create a fun budget. That's okay, but make sure you're fully preparing yourself for everything. And one thing I'll say with my business, matchmaking business, I see people,
question.
Yes, I see people with all different stories and backgrounds, and that's okay. The goal, at least with my business, I want to meet you where you're at. Everyone is at a different level. Everyone has a different story, but that's what makes us unique, right? That's our brand. That's our. One of my favorite quotes is, actually, which one should I hit you with?
Your favorite one.
I'll hit you with it. In a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, the goal is to really just meet you where you're at and kind of take those little systematic steps to get you where you want to go on your journey.
So
all right,
I was going to ask you.
Enough teasing, I'll hit you with the quote. Okay. Your smile is your logo.
Mm-hmm.
Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. I'll repeat it for you guys. Your smile is your logo.
Mm-hmm.
Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. So think about that, right? Because our brand identity, a lot of people are very lost in what they represent. A lot of people don't really know how they're perceived and how they're remembered in society. And that's a lot of the work that I do, which honestly, you know what it is? It's a lot of inner work.
Right.
Not being aware of who you are. And I found that a lot with my minority clients because they don't see their place in this world. And that comes a lot from us as individual consumers, right? It's Black History Month. Are you supporting local Black businesses? Are you doing your part? Are you just expecting them to just rise up? Because as we know statistically, not to go into factual data, the funding for small businesses is at a historic low. And the categories that are hit the most, number one is the Black communities. Then it goes to Latino communities. And then, there's like a trickle down effect. But the Black communities are underrepresented. So are you doing your part?
Exactly.
No, absolutely.
So I was going to ask you about your business, the Business Matchmaker. So can you tell us a little more about what you do?
Absolutely. So what I do as a business matchmaker, it's kind of like I'm, obviously a love matchmaker. So I'm like a business version of a matchmaker for professionals. So I help them. I diagnose what their issues are, what they're looking for in a partnership, right? Not a relationship. And I help to fill the void in their business. So whether it's people, whether it's product, whether it's purpose, right? So it's finding out what it is. Are you for purpose? That's actually one that I really love. Are you clear on your vision and what you want to do? Do you have set defined goals? Have you built an action plan? Do you know what it is that you actually want to accomplish with your business? A lot of people have great ideas, but they don't actually know how will that actually help people? How will that benefit society or their targeted clientele, right? And then people is a big one because a lot of people think I can do it all by myself, right? And some people can, but some people can't. And that's where they need a little bit of help. And it's okay to ask for help, but you have to find the right people, right? You want to build a board of directors, a team of people that's going to hustle for you, and they say, do the job better than you. They're going to carry out your vision like you weren't even in the room, right? So I really try to do a diagnosis similar to a doctor. And I have something really exciting coming up. Maybe I'll share the part 2 that I'm working on behind the scenes. That's going to kind of have that Dr. Phil effect. And really kind of sit down because no one really does that and spends that time to really understand what your needs are. And then if it's solutions, I have social media services, marketing, strategy building. I can help build the business plan, work with your team. So it really just depends on what those specific needs are, and I match you accordingly.
That's awesome because, like you said, a lot of people want to work in silos, and they think there's some, I'll say, are control freaks, and they're afraid to lose that control. So they're afraid to kind of delegate to get the help that they need. But at the end of the day, it's going to benefit you if you have the right team in place.
Absolutely.
That's me.
Absolutely. Well,
that's me.
I have some office hours. We can work that out.
It's important because that's
I can delegate with no problems at all. I mean, when I was a director somewhere, my staff, I can put my feet up on the desk and, give directions and solve all problems. It's just in the entertainment world, I have not been able to get the right team that worked, at my pace or, handle things the way that I will handle. And I know everybody works differently, but I'm just a fast-paced person. And when I want something done, I want it done. And I want it done now. So in order to get that done now, I have to do it myself. So, and because in the entertainment world, my name is all I have. And so when I put on performances, it has to be right. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to that. So I just have to make sure all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed, and it is what it is. I mean, I've handled it, but I would love to have a good team that, I can use and not have to worry about it or not, go behind them and check in and things like that,
somebody you can trust. It's a matter of trust. It sounds like a team that you can trust.
Right.
I think
that's true.
Are trust and confidence, right? You have the trust that you believe them, you can lean on them, you can depend on them, they're reliable, and then you have the confidence that they will execute accordingly and follow out your vision. It really does take the right ingredients for success, but I do believe that it's custom to you, right? So we don't have one recipe for every single person. We really sit down and diagnose the same way when you go to a doctor and you find out what are their symptoms. Okay, these are your symptoms. Let's figure out a solution. And it's a step-by-step process. So it's a very strategic matchmaking service that identifies what will really fill the gaps in your business, right? Because if certain things are already being covered, why would you overlap those areas? You want to really try to fill in those gaps. And so it is a process. I'll be honest. It's just like with a relationship, right? You're not like, all right. I mean, I wish it was that easy. You go on a date. Yep. Checked up. All right. Sign the contract. A relationship. Valentine's Day is required. No, like I love to do a contract. I joke about that all the time because I'm so business. I'm like, why can't relationships just be contractual?
Right.
Besides marriage, I mean, that's obviously the only one that really exists. But I'm saying when you're dating in a relationship, that would be great. But we really can't do it like that. Even with this.
We shouldn't anyway.
Right. No, absolutely. But it's everything. I mean, you seem to be well-rounded with a lot of things, and and serving the people and helping the people. I mean, you just said you volunteer, you work in the community, and activists and the artists, and so you can reach so many people through that, and they are really the ones who need that help, because especially the artists who all they focusing on is their craft, and so they need somebody that will tell them the right way and how to handle their money so that they can continue to be successful and not that one hit wonder, So I love what you're doing, and I even love the name. Was it business mat? What is it?
Business
matchmaker.
Yeah, business matcher. Yeah. I was like, when I was reading, I was like, oh, is she a matchmaker? No.
Next all around, we can talk. I have a good network. You never know. I'm one of those people. I laugh because I met one of my longest relationships. I met that individual on a business trip in Vegas. Like, I met someone on a plane. Like, I could tell stories for days. Honestly, you meet people sometimes organically in your natural habitat, and it could be that way for business too. I'm like, some of my favorite people I've met at Starbucks just talking about lattes, or the new normal with COVID, and now we can barely stand. We got to yell to like talk, hey, to talk to each other. No one can understand us through the mask. Like, you have to repeat it 30 times. I don't know about you, but my order's been messed up so many times. I'm just like, okay, forget it. I'll hand you a note. Let me give you a note. You don't understand what I'm saying. But it's just funny. Like, you just have these organic dialogues, and I know I work in New York and Manhattan, so I constantly get access to people, even in the new normal. You just have to be careful and strategic and safe about it. But ultimately, I would say, matchmaking, it's not some perfect formula or solution. It is not, and it's always going to evolve over time. But as they say, your network is your net worth. And then I also say it's not just who you know, it's who knows you. Remember, it's not just who you know, it's who knows you. You have to be memorable. And as we know, it takes a short period of time for it to be forgettable. So just think about what your brand identity is. I actually tell people, practice writing your own brand statement and what you want to be remembered. And it could be 3 top things, that you're compassionate, that you're an empath, that you're hardworking, whatever it is. Make sure that resonates in how you show up in the world. And I guarantee you will attract the individuals and the energy. That's another mantra for 2021, to protect your energy. Like, it is just so important and crucial, no matter where you are in your life, what you're going through. Protect your energy, get rid of the toxicity, get rid of the energy drainers, the time wasters, and that could be things and it could be people. You got You got to cancel some people. No, I'm serious. And I don't even mean that in a joking way. Like, they're canceled. Like, it's a joke. It started as a joke, and then I was like, no, that's real.
Right.
Because yourself, it's the most important asset in your portfolio, right? Yourself.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell us about your podcast before we.
Yes. Oh, yes. So you guys are invited on. No. We're doing some joint ventures and collaborations because we want to really bring in the community. That's what we're doing, and we had to adapt. I'm sure you guys, it used to be in person, now it's virtual, but the positive back in energy. But women and men in business who rock, obviously that shows the diversity because obviously women who runs the world, right? But men are, listen, men are our biggest allies, the right men. And I think that's what it is, having that alignment and knowing which individuals you want backing you. And the show highlights entrepreneurs, successful change makers, visionaries. We focus on, like I said, women and men. So we had recently a yoga instructor who talked about health and wellness and how it's neglected constantly in our society. And that's in our culture. That's unfortunately in the US, really hardworking, but what do we have to show for it? More health problems, right? So we gotta think about what are we doing to focus on what makes us happy, and just doing the little things, taking a 10-minute walk, having your cup of tea. I have to have my chai tea every day, or you don't want to come around me. You know, like I need my things to lift me up. So focusing on that. We recently had actually a female run. This was interesting. These women are dope. Female run cannabis company. Have you heard of that? That's actually pretty cool. It's called Her Highness NYC. That was me. We've had a few celebrities, TV correspondents.
How can people watch? How can people listen to your podcast? Like,
absolutely. Actually, if you go on to Facebook and Instagram, Work Your Money Podcast, it's actually spelled out like that. You can catch the episodes there. We're actually currently filming new episodes. But you can definitely get into it. It's very diverse. Like, we have people from all different backgrounds and walks of life. So it's super exciting. Charles Payne, Fox News correspondent. He's awesome. He was on recently. So we get some good people. But I'd love to have you guys on, Franchella and Lynette.
Definitely.
Absolutely. We would love to be a part of your podcast. And how else can people find you? You have any social media?
Yes. So newly growing and developing, because I actually started this business during COVID. You see, guys, right? There's opportunity. Say that again.
Innovation is what COVID created.
Absolutely. Innovation, learning how to adapt and pivot during these times. I love that. But it's the Business Matchmaker, _business_matchmaker. On Facebook, it's Desiree the Business Matchmaker. And then just to add more, it's the website is thebusinessmatchmaker.org. So absolutely come follow me if you just have ideas and insight. If you would like to be coached, you can definitely, shoot your information into that little contact box. So excited to share the wealth and knowledge. I love people. I love the community. So this is exciting.
Yes. Well, thank you for all that you do, Desiree. Yes. You rock.
You absolutely, just your energy, like, your presence is just, phenomenal. Like, I can't see why no one would not talk to you. You bring that out on everybody. So that's just a great thing. It really is. Now we are waiting right now for our relationship, as it is Valentine's. So we're waiting for our relationship coach to come on, and you're welcome to stay, because we're going to talk about relationships, how to get a man, how to keep a man, how to get a woman, how to stay in love, the whole thing. So
I might stay for that. Can I hit you with a final quote though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Quote girl. I love quotes. Okay. And actually I wanted to share something else. I think that everybody should celebrate and share their little wins. That is another mantra for 2021. I got way too many. So it doesn't matter what you accomplish. You got a raise. You got a free latte. I don't care what it is. Like, just celebrate. I get excited over that. Mm-hmm. And usually I don't want to share it because I'm like, nah, it's too small. Like, this isn't that big of a deal. But we need to start feeling good at the end of each week. So my women's group talked about this, like, whatever it is, whoever you want to share it with, post it online, share it with your family, and just be like, you know what? I did this week and I'm proud. So that's something I wanted to share with you guys. And one of my wins, which actually I don't feel is a little win, because it's something that I was really proud of that I didn't know I could even do, even though I wanted to do it. But as of just early February, I'm officially a published author. So I'm working on
and welcome.
Yes, welcome. Lynette has 2 books as well.
Sure do.
So first, it's actually not the book yet. I have a regular financial column. It's under the Financial Planning Association, and I will be contributing content around marketing, advertising. How do you build your brands? Kind of similar to the business matchmaker theme. Or series that will actually be based on my business, but just wanted to drop that knowledge to you guys. So check out the column. It may help you in your journeys. And then with the quote, I always kind of use the notes because it's like pretty long, but I try to paraphrase it a little bit. But it's, don't listen to me, listen to yourself. People often ask me, who am I passing my torch to? First of all, I'm not giving up my torch, thank you. I'm giving my torch to light other people's torches, because if we each have a torch, there's a lot more light. That's Gloria's taking it back. I love
that. Love that.
That's a similar analogy to being on an airplane. If something happens and they say you put your mask on first and then you help other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much. I mean, this was truly, you know, a great interview with you and all that you're doing and all that you're giving. And so we thank you. And we definitely would love to be on your podcast. So definitely hit us up, you know, after the show and we can arrange something. So Lynette, can you reach out to I'm
actually on my cell phone, so I would have to dip out and
I don't want you to dip out, darling. So let me dip out for her, because she should have been in the queue by now, and I don't see her. Her email. What was her email?
Look, everything is on my phone. I know it's denied. The DANIDA. Or it might be the Black Marriage Movement.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, because that's what I sent it to. Okay, so ladies, continue, and I shall be right back.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I did want to tell everybody, because Denai was on our last show in December, and the show in December, not our last show, but the show that was in December. So we talked about the different things in relationships. We had 2 young ladies on the show who were actually looking for love, and I have a praise report because one of them actually found love. So Naj is now in a relationship. So congratulations, Naj, and we wish you all the best. With it, I didn't hear back from the other young lady I tried to follow up with. Me, my status is still the same. So I like you know what I mean? I'm gonna be self-loving. Well, I self-love all the time, but Valentine's Day I'm going to be double self-loving myself and just enjoying life, period. You know, I might treat myself to a spa day. But at any rate, you know, we asked Denai to come back on the show because we wanted to do a follow-up in line with Valentine's Day, because we're only on once a month. So you won't see us again until March. So we try to fit in Valentine's Day to give you guys some insight and information on relationships and building them and how to build them better and so on and so forth. So I don't know if she will come on, but hopefully Franchella will be able to get in touch with her. Is there anything that you want to share? I talked a whole lot last time, so I said I'm gonna be quiet.
You like me to shed some light on relationships?
Yeah, like
absolutely.
In modern time, because it's a challenge for me in modern time.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember I kind of gave that analogy with business matchmaking and personal matchmaking. I think it's a process. It's a journey. Like I joked, I wish we could have a contract, you know, just like in a business arena. It doesn't, you know, it's like checked off. Okay, I know what your pet peeve is. I know what would be a deal breaker for me. But, you know, we really have to be patient. I think patience, as they say, is a virtue, and really get to know that person and be willing to build with them rather than adding that extra pressure. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is expectations. Don't set them.
You're in my head. You are in my head right now. Because I was going to say, I think that's where a lot of us go wrong, is going into it with an expectation on how it should be, and not knowing that, okay, how it should be for you might be different for how it should be for them. So you have to first get to know each other, and then kind of see how you can gel together or not. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think you have to, and you know what? There's interesting times. I will share my past love. His family member found love through Match.com. They're happily married all these years later. I actually have another good friend who found someone through an online service. So it's possible. You know, you just have to figure out what works for you. It's kind of like, once again, knowing who you are and what you want to bring to the table and what you're looking for in someone else. So, you know, everybody is different. So I think you just need to kind of understand what you're comfortable with. Don't follow the same rule book as everybody else. Figure out what works for you. Like, I know I'm a businesswoman, so I knew I would meet someone organically in the business space, and that would work for me because I'd find someone who's aligned with me and has sympathy with me and what I believe in and what I'm passionate about. Zodiac signs, I actually was in the same zodiac, so I found that intriguing. I have met my twin flame. I truly
get out of here.
And you're not necessarily meant to maybe be with that twin flame. You know, for people who don't know the twin flame, it means your souls are split. That you've met the person who exactly aligns with you. But there's a lot that comes with that. There's some toxicity. There's maybe an extra amount of passion than a normal relationship. But I think you just have to really find what you're comfortable with, your method of finding someone that's right for you, and just taking your time. But the expectation thing is the biggest thing, because if you go into it like, you can't have my babies. Like, you can't go into it like, have your babies. And you're wondering what your babies will look like. You can't do that. And I think as women, because we have so much pressure, women we're super women, right? We're mothers, we're sisters, we're daughters, over the world, over the corporate world. We need to just take our time and let things happen organically, and then honestly things will fall into place. Because the reality is we're evaluating that individual too, right? It's a process to get to know that person. You can't just expect everything to be out on the line at the first date, you know?
And you should want more. You know what I mean? Like everybody that you meet is not always the one. You know, and for some people, depending on how long they've been waiting for the one, they think that every time they meet somebody, oh, this is the one, this is the one. Not necessarily. This might be the one for something, but not necessarily for a relationship that you're looking for.
I agree.
That's why I like that you talked about the patience thing, because no matter how long you've been waiting, you don't want to dive in and jump into something that's not good for you. And it's a time waster.
And so I did reach out to her, so we'll see if she gets to come in. But I'm sure that, you know, we're not experts. I mean, I am a little bit of expert because I've been married for 27 years, so I do have a little bit of knowledge on relationships. And we did get one question. It was from a male who asked, "Why do men cheat?"
Oh,
wow.
First and foremost, see this book here? It's my first book called it's called Cheaters Never Win, How to Stop Cheating in Any Relationship or Never Start. So get this book. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes & Noble, it's on Target, Walmart, Lulu, and every book retailer. Google it and you'll find it. Purchase this book. It's an excellent read, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the author. But this book talks about uncovering your why. And let me just first say that the book is not judgmental in any way. It doesn't bash men. It doesn't bash women who cheat. What it does is it gives you an eye-opening experience of how to uncover your why, the why of behaviors, because cheating is a behavior. So there's some people who cheat and there's some people who don't cheat. So what's the difference between the two? So you have to actually, to me, cheating is an individual experience. It's an individual decision and it's an individual experience. So everybody, you can't generalize and say, oh, this is why people cheat. You can't. A lot of people do it. The number one thing they say is sex, but that doesn't necessarily mean that means why all people cheat. So you have to consider the source. You have to consider the person that you're talking about and then uncover their why, because it's different reasons. What I call internal validation and external validation are two of the biggest reasons why some people cheat. For men, in my opinion, it is that internal validation. For women, it's the external validation. And you have to get the book to understand what the two means. I won't go into it further, but I'm gonna be quiet because I told y'all and I could go on and on. So I'm gonna be quiet and let y'all talk now.
And that's why people are in your life for a reason, season, or lifetime. Period. Right. And you need to figure out where they are, and you have to be okay with that. I think there's just this internal feeling like we're nurturers, we're lovers. The feeling of rejection is so overwhelming, especially for us empowered business women. I've been there. I'm like, are you kidding? I check out everything. What? No, because it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about.
But do you ladies think that men are intimidated by women of by women of power and
yes. Some are.
Yeah, so some are.
In their life. Depending on where they are in their life, I think that's what makes the difference.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But also, I think men innately, I've had conversations. I have a lot of male best friends and good friends, and they said it's not even a matter of them not wanting to cheer their woman on. It's that they're worried, do I even have a place anymore? For a man still inherently wants to feel needed and dependent on, even if you're independent. It's not that he wants you to literally be like, I need you for everything, but he wants to feel wanted and needed too. Men just don't express that. It's just like how we don't see men cry as often or express their emotions. It's not that they don't have it. They just don't want to express it because of their masculinity. They want to protect their masculinity. They want to be the strong man for you. But it doesn't mean they don't want you to want them or need them or to be dependent on them. And I think that's what they've told me. And that's why some of my past failed.
You're right. I know that I was in a relationship before, and I'm a very helpful person. I'm a very independent person, and I do a lot of things myself, because that's what I've been used to doing. So when I do have somebody in my life, I kind of have a difficult time like saying, okay, I'll let you help me. You know what I mean? So what some guy said to me one time, you got to let a man be a man. And here I didn't know that that's what I wasn't doing. I just was being me. And in being me, I was not letting him do what a man is supposed to do for a woman. You know what I mean? So there's that masculinity thing. Now, to me, I didn't know. I just was like, oh, this is what I do. This is just who I am. And he's like, yeah, but it's not giving me room to feel needed. And that's what a man needs. So you're absolutely correct.
Listen, you ain't got to carry my groceries in. Just pay my bills. Like, I can grab the bag myself.
Just buy the groceries
sometimes. Listen, because I take 10 trips, they'll take 2.
But I was the type that I feel bad. Like if this was the same person. Like if we went to the supermarket, he buy the groceries and he want to carry all the bags, and I'm like, that's not fair to you. Like,
right.
Like give me half.
I want to help. That's not my husband is. He wants to. He'll come in with like all. I'm like, oh my God. But then later, your neck, your back, something hurting. Like let me help. I mean, it's a team. When you get married or in a relationship, we are a team. So even though you carry more than I carry, let me still help, because I don't want to sit around. I'm not the cutesy little girl that just want to be sit and cross her legs and like, oh you just do everything. No, I want to be able, because God forbid at the end of the day, if something happens to him and he's no longer around, like in your situation, now I'm forced to do this on my own, and I'm clueless. So no, I want to be.
And I don't mean to bring up, sorry, not to go into segment 1, but you just made me think about something really important. Women, be in control of your finances, right? So don't depend on the Actually, this goes into both segments. Don't depend on the relationship and your current situation. Think futuristically and prepare yourself. Because that organization I mentioned, Savvy Ladies, the reason it was founded is because the founder's grandmother was so dependent on her husband that she literally died dependent on him because she would not leave that abusive relationship because she was fearful. She couldn't balance a checkbook. She had no idea how to manage her money. She was clueless, and it was sad. Like she literally like this hurt like that. So always, yes, look, relationships are a partnership. I love that you use the word partnership because that's the one thing that I think people lose sight of. And I have my business clients. So this is the funny thing. We're talking about relationship segment. I have my business clients come to me and open up about their personal lives, their relationships and all that. And I love that they're open with me. And the biggest thing that they talk about is their relationship challenges. And sometimes they ask me and I'm like, well, I'm a business expert. I don't know about relationship expert, but at the same time, they go hand in hand, right?
Absolutely.
And supports you in everything that you do. And it's supposed to be equal distribution. You have a long day of work being a power woman, and he cooks dinner or he helps out. It's okay, and vice versa.
Exactly.
Right. Let me read one of these comments here. You know I need my glasses. I can't see.
I look at things in terms of. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Kelly Ryder says, "I think you should be independent for sure, but I do think certain things are simply a man's job." Yeah, like what? I guess
like taking out the trash.
But you can. But why? Why do they have to take out the trash and we do the dishes? No, we can jointly interact and sweep up. I can roll the trash can down the end of the driveway. You know,
I'll gather all the trash in the house and you take it outside.
There you go.
Right, but I can roll, like, you know, because he has to be to work, like, 3 o'clock in the morning, and so maybe running late, he leaves, oh, it's trash day. I can roll it down. I'm not gonna say, oh, that was your job to do.
Right.
Oh, doing that. No, I mean, I just think that, he if the rugs need vacuum, he should be able to which he does. Like, that's why we make such an awesome team, because it's not, oh no, that's your job. Oh no, that's your job. Oh, now he doesn't want me to lift any heavy things or do anything that, he feels though he should do. But a lot of times, let me just help you. You work in a car. Let me hand you the tool. Let me just help you, because it makes the process go by faster than you just out there by yourself, without any help. We all need help in doing some things. And sometimes, I think of things, or I have these brilliant ideas, and I say, see, aren't you glad I was out here? You know what I'm saying? Because I think of things that he might not thought of at the time, so that's what makes us a great team.
Y'all work.
Kelly, she's still talking. She's still talking. Like, it's his job to showboat.
Sometimes though, independence is overrated. I've been independent long enough to say that it's overrated. Like it is. Like sometimes, like you say, everybody need help a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So this independence, I would love for somebody come in here and clean up sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
it's not a bad thing. Women need to stop.
It's not a bad thing. But after a while, you be like, all right.
For those women who say, "Oh, I don't need a man to help me," that's BS. Because everybody does need help. We all need help, and we appreciate help. At times that you want to just relax and right. And so the help, I enjoy the help, but I'm very hands-on as well.
Don't be dependent. Just don't be dependent.
Right.
Like I tell people, I said, when you're dependent, just imagine your hands like this, and you're in the palm of somebody else's hand, and all they gotta do is like this, and then you're gonna fall right flat on your face.
Fall right off.
Yeah. Just don't be dependent. Independence is better than dependent. I'll say that.
I think it's about finding that happy balance and just knowing you have a resource there, you have a partner there, you have a support system. And I think women, we just, like I said, okay, so the CEO of Pepsi, right? The past CEO, I loved quoting her. And it's because she said, women, you can't have it all. And everyone's face dropped. And she's like, no, I'm not saying you're not capable. I'm saying, do you really want to do it all? Do you really want to have it all? Or do you want to be happy? Or do you want to feel fulfilled? Do you want to have a balanced life? They say when you bring your full self, it's because because you're not literally bringing all of you to that one particular thing. You're bringing it to this thing, that thing, the other thing, so that you have outlets. You have things that you can do to fulfill you, so that when it comes down to that one thing that you're doing, you're really giving your all because you have a balanced life. It goes down to self-care again. Remember we talked about that? That's business, that's personal, that's relationships. And I think women need to stop neglecting their self-care when they're in relationships.
Self-love.
I got to fulfill every need of somebody else. What about you? You need that massage after a long day too. What about you?
Preach.
They made the song, put off your shoes and relax your feet. Hello. Like, she didn't make it for any reason. It's because you deserve it too. Like, take care of your man. Take care of whoever. And look, I'm not trying to say, I shouldn't even just say men, because I'm very open. I don't know what your preference is, whatever it is.
Right.
The situation is, do what you need for you too, because when you give yourself the best, your partner will also get the best in that situation as well.
Exactly.
Right.
That's excellent advice. That is excellent advice, because we as women, we always forget about ourselves. We're nurturers by nature. So oftentimes we give, but we don't ever put back into ourselves. So that's extremely important.
No, it is. It's definitely important, but it goes both ways, and that's why it is a partnership, and so the communication and it's so many factors that go into a relationship, but keeping that, and I think with here the question where why men cheat or go outside of the relationship is because most of the time, when you first meet somebody, how you feel, the excitement of we have our coach coming in. Where have you been, woman?
So we gotta go longer tonight now.
I can't hear anything. I'm like, everything's going weird. I'm sorry. I thought I wasn't supposed to be here for another 3 minutes, so I clearly had the wrong time.
Oh wow. That's okay. We've been rolling along with our conversation on relationships and any of the questions that some of our viewers may have about relationships. But
so welcome, Denai. Denai is from the Black Marriage Movement. She has an online platform. So again, she was on our December show. So we just wanted to bring her back and to talk about relationships, because as you see, we have a lot to talk about in terms of relationships. So we just wanted to bring on a relationship coach who can tie into the conversation. So thank you for joining us again.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Happy to be here. Apologies for being late.
No problem.
Do you mind
if you can help our viewers? If you can help them, they all tuning in because it's Valentine's and they just want to know, how they can find love and how they can stay in love.
Absolutely.
Do you want her to answer the cheating question or?
Yeah, sure.
Let's hear it.
So one of the questions that somebody sent in was, why should I say men or people cheat?
Well, it was a man. It was a man asking. So I'm like, don't you know? Like, you should know. Of why do men cheat? Why do men cheat?
Okay, thank you. I'm like, for some reason, I'm getting like a feedback that makes it warped a little bit for me to hear that. But I was able to hear that last bit. Why do men cheat? There are a lot of different reasons why men cheat. A lot of different ones. Usually it's a core of insecurity, that you'll find some sort of a wound there that has created an element for him to problem solve in such a way that rather than actually resolving the issue, he self-protects and he goes into survival mode. And so he does whatever is best for him. Usually that's what happens. But there are a lot of different reasons why men cheat. Dr. M. Gary Newman did a study where and you let me know how much time I have to answer each question. Dr. M. Gary Newman did a study where he wrote a book after interviewing tons of husbands and boyfriends who cheated. And the good news on that is that he found only 12% of them fit into the category where they were lifetime cheaters, habitual cheaters. They felt like cheating was something they were entitled to do and they weren't going to change. That's only 12%. The good news is 88% of men found themselves in some sort of a life situation. They didn't want to cheat, but they ended up making a poor decision, usually based on vulnerabilities, where the relationship was, unmet needs from their wife, not being taken care of, not getting the attention that they needed, the affection they needed, the sex that they needed. A really challenging thing to hear about this is that unfortunately, there's like a spike in cheating when a woman gets pregnant. Many men don't know. I know. My only way of consoling you when I say that is that it's normal. When I have a wife on and we're doing our counseling sessions, what I can tell her is she's not the only woman in the world who this has happened to. And unfortunately, it's kind of common. So it's more common than you would think, is what I'll say. What I find
I
is,
heard that it's because some women, when they are pregnant, their sex drive is different, or they don't want to harm the baby, so they might say, "I don't want to have sex until
I
after." I
absolutely,
don't know, but that's what I
no,
hear.
absolutely. I think you're right. I think what happens is, listen, I have a post on my page right now about men being able to share their feelings and their emotions. Here's the reality: men are emotional beings, and their emotions are actually tied to their sex, which society doesn't give them credit for. And to be fair, they confuse us when they say things, if they're cheating, like, oh, well, that didn't mean anything to me, but you mean something to us. What they don't understand in that reasoning is there's a disconnect with us from their hearts to their sex. So we don't need to do that. That's a really bad way of explaining this. But yes, men do get emotional and they have emotional needs. And it is their wife's duty, sorry to use that dangerous word, to meet those needs. The problem is many men do not communicate. They're not very articulate in communicating. Yes.
Right.
So they
Yes.
shut down. But again, I've got my latest post on my page right now is talking about men and their ability to be safe. And what the men are saying is we don't feel safe because when we express our emotions, our women call us weak. They think that we are weak. And the worst thing for a man to be to his own woman is weak. So if you are critical, if you are in a position in your life where, yes, you're pregnant and so you're not paying attention to him, or you are shutting down, or you are thinking, well, I'm pregnant, he will understand. I recommend everybody start communicating. Don't assume just because there's a very real life circumstances going on that your husband understands. Find out, connect, create a safe space for him to say,
Yeah,
actually, I miss you. Actually, babe, I kind of need you. Actually, babe, I need affection. I need some time. And no, even him saying that is hard for him. That's what they're saying.
Mhm.
They're saying it's hard for us to even say, I need you. Like I'm not okay right now. I need attention. I need affection. The other thing that I would say about men cheating is that, well, no, that's it. It's basically when he's not getting a lot of attention, when we are overcritical, because they are so in need of our validation as their wives, as their fiancés, and when they're not getting it,
And that's so understandable, but at the same time, they have to understand, the woman's point. So when women have children, they get so overwhelmed with
yes,
taking care of the kids, the home, working, or whatever the case may be. And
yes,
so that sexual drive is not there. Now, that's where the communication comes into play and
yes,
say, listen, let's make up date nights,
that part.
that where we can just be about each other,
Yes.
no kids, no nothing. And it might be once a week and you're not used to just having sex once a week, but it is what it is because you have to compromise on both ends.
So
You have
let's
to
talk about
understand.
so let's talk about compromise. One of the other things that a man needs to do, first of all, he needs to communicate. You do need to let your woman know that you need her because we do go into mommy mode and we're flooded with mommy emotions and hormones. And so the obvious is take care of the kid, right? So
Right.
he does need to tune into her and make sure he's communicating that he has needs. She also needs to anticipate. Don't get so caught up in the kid that you're neglecting your husband. The other thing that he can do, while she's a mommy, she's also a wife. With him, it's the other way around. While he's a husband, he has to remember he's a father too. So
Right.
this is where the compromise comes in. he needs to make sure she has the support she needs, that she has the assistance, the partnership in parenting the little ones and in walking through the pregnancy, to know, okay, I'm not in this by my own, on my own, because a lot of moms will just go into overdrive and do, and that I have somebody who wants to shoulder this load. The more he can shoulder the load for her, the more sexually attractive and available she can be to him.
I love that you said partnership, because right before you joined us, that's one of the key things that we talked about. It's not one-sided, and we talked about how women, as nurturers, as mothers, as caregivers, we try to take on the biggest load possible. Then men try to carry their weight in their corner and do their duties. But we also talked about how, you know, you need to reciprocate, that you do need that. We talked about power women, right? And we're all power women right on this call right now. We got a lot of viewers, but there has to be an understanding. Look, I need you too, vice versa. Like the man has to feel needed in this situation and vice versa. And we have to make sure we communicate. I think that's the biggest thing. If we don't communicate with each other, we don't know how another feels. One thing that I was intrigued by, I can't figure this out. Men who were people, I don't know if we're talking about men who cheat or people who cheat, one time versus repetitively. What is the reason behind doing it one time and continuing on? Because there's a big difference when someone says, you know what, that was a mistake, I'm not doing that. And this comes from experience. I've been on the side of it happening to me, and I couldn't figure it out. Why? Can you tell me a little more?
I'm not a relationship coach, but I'm of the belief that men and women, I don't think that it always has to do, when they cheat, I don't think that it always has to do with someone outside of themselves. Sometimes, yes, like meaning it's not always the other person's fault. You know what I mean? So sometimes I feel like a lot of women say, oh, well, what could I have done better? Or what could I have done different? It might not even have nothing to do with it. If you peel back the layers of the potatoes from his childhood and him not getting attention from his mom or whoever, and then somebody to pay him attention, who knows why? That's why I said there's so many different reasons. It's not always the woman's fault. It's not always the man's fault. It's the individual and what's going on inside of them at that moment. That's why you have to figure out what your reason is, because there's some people who don't get sex and still don't cheat. It's some people that don't get their needs met and still don't cheat. So what's in that person that's cheating? What is in them that causes that behavior? So go ahead. So I'm like I said, I'm be quiet.
No, that's why I was saying. So the second category I was going into, which again goes down to attention. I think it's not safe. We don't make it safe for people to need attention. We demonize people needing attention. And as a child, I remember it was shamed then too. It was always, if some little kid was acting out, adults would say stuff like, look at them, they need all this attention. Look at her just trying to get all this attention. Yeah, and what would be so bad about you paying attention to a kid who's trying to sing in front of you or trying to tap dance in front of you? Like, they do need attention. And what I'm saying is the neglect of those wounds does create more and more of a hunger as they get older. And you're absolutely right. Then when their partner inevitably triggers that by them not paying attention,
or not,
right, add to that if it's a man who's in this position, because women need attention too, but if it's a man who's in this contention, you add to that if he had 2 or 3 girlfriends who told him not to express his emotions, where he got that kind of feedback that, whoa, if you cry, you're weak, or if you get angry, then you're out of control, or if you get sad, then I'm like, man up, like what the heck? Then he's going, I can't get my needs met by you. Then what that creates is a vulnerability in the relationship. And by that, I mean, when that unmet need, because it is a need, is not fulfilled by her, inevitably some woman comes in at the job and they're working on projects and she's just so impressed with him, and she vocalizes and verbalizes, and every time he does a little something, she notices it. That is what happens. And to be fair, what I loved about the research in this particular area, in this scenario, because you're right, there are multiple different scenarios. In this area, what you find is this is where men were the most vulnerable, with the best of intentions and did not know that they were going to cheat. Ended up literally, and it was such a beautiful discussion the way that it happened, because they started saying, I didn't even know I was vulnerable. I didn't even know I needed that. So when we look at it that way, again, no, not women's fault. Never women's fault. Men make a decision to do
Sometimes
whatever
it
they're
is.
going to
I'm
do.
not saying it's never.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, without fault, yes, if we want to have great relationships, we have found that there are ways that when you realize that your husband is about to cheat or might have just cheated for the first time, as you said, you can actually save it. You can actually interrupt it. It doesn't have to become a lifestyle. If you can tune back into him, ask him what's going on, and have a very real conversation. And this is where it's really careful for the ladies. Have a very real conversation. You have every right to be angry if that's where he is or if that's what he's thinking about. But what the research shows is you can interrupt it by creating a safe space for him to be able to talk to you about what he actually needs.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again, because when your man is struggling like that, it's very, very important. We tend to go angry. I'm telling you, your anger, while it's merited, I'm not telling you to doormat out. You have rights. While your anger is merited, what would be helpful is if you can, in that moment, put the anger aside and say, what do you need from me that you're not getting? What is it that would make this situation better between you and me? Where are you emotionally? Am I meeting your needs? Are you getting enough? And here's the thing, not just sex. We always go straight to sex. Are you getting enough hugs? Are you getting enough touch? Do you need me to touch you more? Do you need words of affirmation? Do you need me to call you honey? Do you need me to be more warm and affectionate with you when it's not sexual time? That is a huge one. A lot of wives miss, because again, they think all a man needs is sex, and then they're calling me screaming about, man, my wife doesn't touch me. She doesn't soothe me. She doesn't talk to me in this way. And like, I need that. Better that he get it from you.
Denai, I love that you said this, because you gave me chills. So I'm being vulnerable, right? Because we're talking about relationships, and I've been there. I was told by my longest relationship that I've ever had, I didn't think you supported me. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, and then I was like, wait, he was actually great. And it wasn't intentional. It's just, I was so caught up in my world, in my business. And I'm like, well, I have food on the table. Well, I take care of this. Well, I make sure this is done. It wasn't about checking off a list. He literally just wanted the affirmation. And I didn't realize I wasn't giving it to him. And I think that contributed to the downfall of the relationship, because everything else was there. But one of the biggest things to him was that. And I had no idea. I had no idea.
And that's where most of the wives are. No, and I love that you said that, because that's exactly it. That's where most of the wives are, is clueless, going, I didn't realize. I promise you, it boils down to like a couple of things: attention, affection, encouragement. Or he doesn't have your time. We are more, listen, Black women are the most educated. We are starting businesses like crazy, and we are boss chicks, and it's dope. And we've also completely underestimated how much of our time, energy, attention, and affection it takes away from our man, because it's just not there. So no one is talking about the realities of how do we balance this. And yes, I'm not saying don't be a boss. That's what happens. I'll get attacked for, are you saying I shouldn't be a boss? Well, I'm just saying I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm not this, I'm not that. Taking us back 55 years, never pregnant. No, I'm not. And again, please be a little less defensive so I can offer you feedback, because I'm trying to help. No, but to pretend that what we are doing economically right now, listen, women, I have clients who are nurses studying to get another master's degree. You know, no time, none, right? With a child, like under 5, you know? Right. And then husband just wanting her, and she has no her to give. I'm saying there are realities on that. I also want to say, and y'all are not going to like me for this, but but I'm here to help, not to be popular.
We need this.
Give it to him.
We, as women, need to understand that the men in our lives, what they want from us is us. What do I mean? What they can't get from anybody else in their life, what they can't get from a man and they cannot produce for themselves, is what makes us special to them. Okay? So, as much as we are educated and doing our things and starting businesses and launching campaigns and platforms and getting, executive jobs, etc., no offense, they don't give a damn about that. They don't. That's not what he wants from you. It isn't. That's really impressive and it's awesome. And it's really hard for me to say this because women are so confused about it because they worked so hard to get that. You worked really hard to get that. That is not what a man wants from you. He doesn't give a damn about that. And in fact, half the time, that is competing with what he wants from you. Yes. And nobody wants to talk about it. And when the men say it, we call them haters. So they can't say it. So shut up. Yeah,
so we're gonna leave it on that note. You know what? I think you did this on purpose. You just want to come back and come back and come back and go back, and we would love to have you back and back.
Please have me back. I will be on time. I promise.
Join you. I will join you for real because I can relate. She's talking about me.
If I'm talking about you, I have a master class called How to Fake Beta. It is for the strong, independent African American woman who is a boss. And it literally teaches you how to attract and keep a healthy masculine man. Because oftentimes we can attract them, but we can't keep them because of how we move. So if that's interesting to you or to any of your viewers, buy the class. DM me on the
wait. She touched on something that I really want to talk about. You talked about, you just mentioned the word that's important to me as I'm out here looking for someone special. So anyway, you mentioned the word masculinity. And so a lot of times the men that I've been meeting are not that. So how do you know, this is my last question. How do you know if a person is, how you doing? Or, they're down low, or like, how do you shout out to Wendy. Like, how do you know? Like, I have this idiosyncrasy, which is probably wrong, but I'm going to say it because it's kind of funny. Like, when I see somebody, if they got a strong mouthpiece, I think they, how you doing? I could be wrong. I don't know. But how do you know? Because it's a lot of secret lies going on.
There are a lot of more. So here's the thing. Ultimately, you'll know when you know. But there are a lot of different things that you can see. Masculinity is competitive, conquering, controlling, and that's how men are when they are in their masculine, leaning into their masculine. Femininity is passive, patient, and vulnerable. So when men are operating in their feminine, that's where they are. We all have both, as you can see, which is what makes us boss chicks. When I'm glowing up, I'm in my masculine because I'm bossing up, right? But when I'm with my man, I turn on my feminine. Specifically, though, some of the things that we're in a really confusing time because women are acting more masculine and showing up more masculine than ever. And that's the reason they're attracting gay men, feminine men. It's true. So
I didn't think about that.
Some of the ways that happens is you don't let them court you. You don't let them initiate. You don't let them call you. You don't let them pursue you. You don't let them pay for stuff.
Be a man.
So busy showing up equal. You are. You're so busy showing up equal and shooting your shot and going after what you want, the way you go after it in business, not realizing that romantic relationships are completely different. That it's very possible for you to end up with a gay man or a feminine man or a man who's just really not that interested in you because the normal steps of courtship, which we throw away and say, oh, that's so old and traditional and 1950s of you, there was a reason for them. The reasons were so that a man could show up and actually show interest through words, thoughts, deeds, not just saying, hey, I like you. If he said, hey, I like you, and he didn't pursue you, you knew that was game. If he said he liked you and he called you and he texted you and he asked you out and he paid for a date and he planned it and then he gave you flowers the next day, those are signs of interest. But because the girls are going, well, he's shy, so he's not doing that, so I'm going to take over and do it myself, you are interrupting a process that would have showed you if you had a healthy masculine man on your hands. And a protector and a provider, etc. So that's part of it. That's part of it.
Well, tell people how they can follow you and find out about
follow me on the Black Marriage Movement on Instagram. I just hit 200,000 followers. I am super excited about that. And yeah, my name's Desiree Marari. I would love to, I do coaching sessions. So if you want to work with me, you can DM me on the platform. I sell all kinds of products and I have a huge 200K bundle right now with a ton of products in it, all e-classes and things like that you all can purchase for $20 if you want to. If you don't, no problem. Just come over and talk to us and tune in to live streams and all that good stuff.
Thank
you. So happy to have been invited. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Denai, and thank you, Desiree. So Desiree is the business matchmaker, and Denai is the relationship expert. So make sure that you support these ladies, and we thank both of you for everything that you do, and thank you for hanging around, Desiree, as well.
We could do separate things.
Yes, thank you, ladies. Truly appreciate it. I want to shout out my husband. I love you for being a masculine man.
Thank
you, ladies. Thank you. And this is not the last time that I hope we see you, ladies. Please keep us up to date with everything that's going on in your life so we can update our viewers. We truly appreciate it. And I'm sure our viewers appreciate all the jewels that you guys have dropped today. And we did go a little over, but it was well worth it. And thank you so much, guys. We truly appreciate it. And thank
everybody for tuning in.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll see you guys every second Tuesday of the month. Make sure you follow us on our Instagram page and Facebook, RRR Talk Radio. And then check out all the past shows on our Real Recognized Real Talk Radio webpage, website, and you'll find everything there. What we're doing.
Quick thing before we go. I'm feeling, because it's Valentine's Day, it's the month of love. I'm feeling like it's my spirit of giving is coming out. So for all of you watching right now that stay tuned, if you follow us on Instagram, RRR Talk Radio, follow us on Instagram and tag us in your post to promote our radio show. I'm giving away, for the first 3 people that do it, I'm going to give you a signed copy of my book. So RRR Talk Radio. So the first person that does it is going to get a signed copy of People Never Win. The second person is going to get a copy of my second book, Art and Grandeur. And then the third person is going to get a surprise gift. So RRR Talk Radio. Follow us. You have to do it on Instagram. So follow us on Instagram, promote our show, and then tag us in it so we can see. And the first 3 people only. So go now.
Go now. Get it, ladies. Not just the ladies, men too.
Right. Men and women.
Yeah. So once again,
all of that. No, just kidding.
All right, guys. We thank you guys for tuning in once again to the Real Recognized Real Talk Radio Show, and we'll see you next month. Love you.
Thank you, ladies.